Yeah.
Hello, this is Mac once again, and we are coming from Refocusing Barbados. Today, I want to talk about one thing: Trump's victory and what the implications are for us here in Barbados. Because I think there are a lot of lessons that we can learn from Trump's victory. From the outset, Trump's campaign was based on fear. Fear. You see, one of the things that people have to understand is when people are paranoid, yes, they are paranoid. White Americans especially are paranoid. And I can understand the paranoia from the point of view that they stole that country from the Native Americans. They slaughtered them, they butchered them. So it's like they're always looking over their shoulders for what will happen next. And the fear was that our country is, or their country, is being taken over by minorities. The 11 million immigrants, Latinos, as they say, have come and taken away jobs from America. And he is saying to make America great again, we will have to get rid of these people, stop the Muslims from coming in, kick the illegals out. Even though he hired some to work in his businesses. So that fear, it doesn't really have a basis. That fear really is can find its genesis in what they did to the Native Americans to slaughter them to take over this country, their country. And from then on till now, there seemed to be this thing about they're having to struggle to keep their country intact. But they would have to if they took it away by the most murderous means possible. And this has been the state of play with white people throughout history. They left Europe, came into the Americas, crushed the people in the Caribbean, crushed the Native Americans, went to Africa, they crushed them. And they say to them, this is our country. You see, that is something I do not understand. You understand? But when you look at what Trump did, he tapped into that fear. And if you look at the results, white people in the far-flung places in America, they came out in droves and voted for Trump. They just turned up en masse, and voted for Trump because of this fear, unfounded fear. And when you look at it, and you go back to the days of slavery, and to the days when the slaves were freed, and the white people lost their economic power, that cheap labor, they decided to get back at the blacks. And they started to criminalize them. And they were saying that they were rapists, just like they're saying the Latinos are rapists and murderers. And they called us, us black people in the United States, the slaves back then, as criminals and rapists. But the most heinous crimes were committed by white people. After slavery, more black people were raped by white men than white women being raped by black men. It was totally unheard of. And a lot of the stories you hear about white women being raped was totally untrue, but just to get at black people to lynch them. And so they criminalized them. Oh no, they continue to criminalize them. They call them criminals, right? The stop and frisk in New York, which the Supreme Court found unconstitutional. Then they have the stand your ground law in Florida. Trayvon Martin died as a result of that. And they could not see them, they could not bring themselves to the position where they lock up Zimmerman for murdering that young boy. Under the laws in Florida, which say you stand your ground. And so that criminalization has continued from slavery up to now, where they continue to build massive prisons, right? And these prisons are privately run, and the judges are just make it a revolving door, keep black people going in all the time to make healthy profits for the people who built these prisons. The prison population in the United States is 2.3 million people. 2.3 million! And the majority of them are black. And the other minorities, which are Latinos. So that criminalization continued up to now, and Trump tapped into that, where he talked about law and order. When they talk about law and order, what they mean is putting black people in their place and criminalizing them and making more and more prisons to keep them in their place. And if you watch it, and Trump is tapping into this, he tapped into it brilliantly. And if you watch it, you'll realize, look through history. Every black person who raised his head and tried to put himself in a position of power, he was targeted by the FBI and by the disgusting one called Edgar Hoover, who decided to label Martin Luther King a communist and the Black Panther movement. But they were the nastiest of the nasty. But when it came to the Ku Klux Klan, the Ku Klux Klan was free to do as they like. Because white people aren't criminals, so they think. So Trump tapped into this fear, and the white people understood the dog whistle. And they came out and they voted against Hillary Clinton. He said, we're going to make you great again, but to make you great, we're going to get rid of all of these people, these minorities, these illegals, because they're taking away our jobs. They're not taking away their jobs. They're doing the jobs that the white people don't want. Same thing happened here. A lot of us don't want the mean office jobs, and the Jamaicans and the Guyanese came in and take them. They kicked them out, and what happened? We struggle for people to work. That same experience exists within the United States. Georgia tried it a few years ago, and there was a serious backlash. The farmers could not reap their crops because they had no immigrants to reap their crops. So they had to turn around. When the farmers said, hey, listen, you're hurting us. This is stupidity. You had to turn around, had to have a reversal of that stupid law. But there's some lessons that we need to learn from this. I expected Hillary to win. One of my good friends said he would not win, and I could not see it. One other friend, an associate, he said to me, I want to see a Trump presidency because I want to see what it looks like. I tell him, I don't want to see the day Trump becomes president of the United States. And even though there was so much scandal surrounding Trump, the people in the United States said, we better have a nasty man than a corrupt woman. That's what they said. We know he's nasty. We know the things he do to women. So what? It's like a little sin, a big sin. You know how that goes, right? Yes. That's what happened. And the lesson for us here is this. And we have to understand this. Being a woman is a virtue. There's a great virtue in being a woman. But only if you want to be a woman. If you want to be a woman, there'll be some virtue in you being a woman. But being a woman is not a value. And the American white people thought that their values were being threatened. What nonsense. So then the backlash came. And the other thing is that we have to realize about this whole thing. Right? Even though I believe that in the next 2 years, Americans will make the correction in the midterm elections. Mark me down for saying that. America will make the correction. The Republicans are going to be hurt in the next election because you can see how the direction Trump is going in. He has Steve Bannon. He has people close to him that are offensive. And people say, no, we don't want them. Trump said, when they can't tell me what to do, I do what I want to do. And you have to understand, a man can do and will do only what he knows. This is what Trump knows, to be a bully. And they cannot get Trump to do anything else but be a bully. He's almost a self-made man. So he's going to do what he wants to do. We got to watch this, because this has a lot of serious implications for us. And I was in the United States recently when I came back yesterday. And I remember going to 2 business places. And the first business place I visited, I said to the lady, and she's Latino, so you have a new president? She said to me, no. America has a new president. I don't have a new president. And I went to another place, and they're owned by Latinos. And the lady who was accustomed dealing with me, she's always jovial and nice and pleasant. But the day after the election, you could see the fear in her face, on her face. You could see it. Latinos, they were scared. I went to New York from Miami, went to New York. And it's the same thing in New York. New Yorkers who are not white Americans are scared. I want us to take some lessons away from this Trump victory. There's one thing I've been saying over and over and over again, and I cannot say it too often. The next election in Barbados, just as the American white people rallied around one theme, the theme fear, I'm saying to you, there is a constituency in this country, and it is very massive. We cannot underestimate it. They are going to rally around one common theme. And when that dog whistle is being made, they are going to line up behind it, and they are going to come out. We ain't going to see it because it's silent. And these are the lessons we need to take away from Trump's victory. The white people were being silent in the suburbs. They were very quiet. But they came out en masse on election day to make sure that that fear that was present was removed from them. I'm saying again, we got to be careful. It is going to happen. MacDonald L. Nichols say that it's going to happen. Fear is something that people always rally around. Who have ears to hear, let them hear. Thank you. This has been Mac. We are Refocusing Barbados.